Hello and welcome, or welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you my Krusty Krab interior, but this isn't actually it. This was my first attempt to make it, and then it was a failure. So then I came back to this room, tried it again, failed again, decided I didn't have the right items, and then the Peter Pan star path came out, and I was so excited because there were all of these nautical, very Spongebob-esque appropriate items. I decided instead of, when I was done with this room, just keeping this room, doing a quick little tour, showing you guys what I did, kind of like how I'm just doing right now, I decided I wanted to do not one, not two, not three, but go all the way to 4 rooms, do the bathroom, Mr. Krabs' office, and the kitchen for the Krusty Krab. So I decided, all right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go onto a fresh level of my house. I am going to add all of the rooms, and then I'm gonna decorate them with you guys so you can see what I did and how I did it. I'm even gonna put food on all of the tables and the bar. I have quite a few items that I think are gonna be super perfect. I'm only missing a couple of items from the update from the Storybook Vale Aurora items. Without further ado, let's pop on over to a fresh floor and expand this little 8x8 room to a larger space, and then add, 3 more rooms. Yep, let's just do it. Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's get to getting. This is how the layout is going to be. If it happens to be on my second floor, I actually deleted my entire second floor because, you know, who cares? We have Mr. Krabs' office that is going to be on the left-hand side. Then we have the Krusty Krab, which is going to be the main space that you enter into. The kitchen is in the back. You know how food is passed through the window, but you'll see. We'll get there. Anyways, I digress. And then the bathroom is over on the right. And I thought that, you know, there's a couple of really funny scenes from Spongebob with the bathroom, and I wanted to include it. And I actually had the perfect item from the Mulan collection. Because I had that item, I figured I'm just gonna YOLO it. I'm gonna make this bathroom. It might be terrible. You guys might hate it. You might just completely eliminate this idea or completely change the bathroom around, but I was trying to go with show accuracy here. Guys, sorry, before we begin, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me show you the sizes of the rooms. The Krusty Krab is going to be a 12 by 10. I wanted to give it that wide feel like a barrel because the Krusty Krab is in a barrel on its side. Mr. Krabs' office, this is a 6 by 8. I looked at all of the photos and I tried to make it accurate to the items that we have in the game and the size of the items and the size of Mr. Krabs' office. And for the restroom, you'll also see why it happens to be a 10 by 6. That's because of this unique special Mulan item. Do not go away. You're gonna be so excited to see this, and whenever I show you my inspiration photo, you're gonna think to yourself, wow, you nailed that, or you're gonna think that's horrible and you hate it, which is fine. And then the kitchen, nice and small. We have a little 8 by 6. I didn't want a 6 by 8. I wanted an 8 by 6. Again, whenever you walk into the rooms, the way that they're rotated. For me personally, the immersion, whenever you walk into the space, I want it with a particular layout. I'm very specific about how I like things, so that's why this is an 8 by 6 and not a 6 by 8. Here we are. We have the main space. I have already moved the doors to where I want them to go based off of the other space that I have. First and foremost is I like to start in furniture mode. I like to pick my floor. I favorited the floors that I really liked. It's gonna be between the pale rough plank floor, even though that name is incorrect. It's supposed to be switched with this rough plank floor. Then I have the wintry wood flooring. I really love this one. It has a little bit more of a green hue to it. I just really love the texture as well. And the rough plank floor, which this should have been pale rough plank floor, and the pale rough plank floor needs to be the rough plank floor, but it's fine. It's fine. Game Loft, you're okay. All right, so let's stick with, this was what I had originally. Let's stick with what I had, and then let's go around, grab this wallpaper. Okay, I'll come right back. So here we are. I don't know if you guys are feeling it yet. Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs? Now we're gonna play with the doors. Let's mess with those. At first I thought to myself, all right, it's a ship right side, this door, it's more metal. But then whenever I was looking at the different aesthetics of the door from SpongeBob, I thought to myself, the shape of this one is perfect. I really like the light that comes from it, and the wood has a barrel rustic vibe as well to it. And I'm gonna stick with that door for that reason. Also, it was husband approved by a massive SpongeBob lover. Now what I'm dropping in here is the Lion King table. I swear I do not know why this is not under tables. I actually don't know what it's under. I have to search Lion King every time I want to drop it in. I'm gonna pop a couple of these in here. I don't know how deep I want it. Now in the actual Krusty Krab, this right here is a ship, and that's where Squidward stands, and there's a cash register, but I'm going to make it a bar because that fills up the space really nicely. All right, I'm gonna move things around. Don't want to bore you. It'll just be a quick little time lapse. All right, now here we are, dropping in a bunch of chairs, and again, I don't want to bore you, so hang tight. And I'm also going to rotate some tables. I'm going to rotate tables first and then drop in chairs. Yeah, I'm doing that. This is why. I'm not going to rotate this one because I want it tucked against the wall. Again, that one, I don't know if I want to rotate it, but it's weird whenever they're all facing the same way. I don't like that. Your eye goes to it that way. I'm going to rotate this one, and then this one here, I'm going to rotate it twice, and then that gives me a different opportunity to put chairs in different areas. I do want this tucked against the wall, but maybe not? Period, question mark? Let's see what happens. Yeah, you see that? I'm gonna tuck it in right there like that. You know, it's funny. I really like to tuck the chairs in and then always give them a little bit of a rotation whenever I do that. And it's nice whenever you rotate the tables as well because it gives you the option to stick the chairs in a way different area. It really pulls it far off of the wall, but I think we're okay. There's gonna be so many chairs, you're not gonna be able to tell which table they go to. All right, so now we have our tables and chairs in, and to make this Krusty Krab appropriate, we need the nice big giant windows, so let's toss those in now. Do you like that? I favorited all the things that I was going to use before I did this. They don't fill the entire space like they did before because I increased the size. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to drop these in. I'm going to play with the beams and see if I can make it feel very Krusty Krab. Remember to rotate. You know what? This should be fine. I have a little area on either side of the window. Maybe I can squeeze something in there, but that's all right. I could, oh wait, no, I did this side wrong. See, look at that. Let me fix that. Now we're gonna throw in all of our chairs, and some are gonna be tucked out and tucked in. Well, I say tucked out, pulled out and then tucked in, okay. Don't forget to exit out of build mode, walk around, make sure you like it, make sure the space feels right, kind of has that aesthetic that you're going for and that there are not too many chairs, but I'm gonna leave it full and dense currently as it is. I'm gonna fill the space and then see how I like it. Let's keep on detailing with lighting and such. Now I know that there are cartoony lamps that I could use, but I'm gonna go with these because I kind of want that upscale feeling for this restaurant, and I know that that's a little weird because I'm going with Spongebob and it's cartoony, and now I'm like, hey, I want things to be upscale, but you can change the lights if you don't want them. But I really, really like them, so that's what I'm going with. This does seem crazy. I am now in the space and I'm looking around. It's really, really bright, but I love that a bunch of stuff is hanging from the ceiling and it has that cluttered feel. It feels kind of cartoony and SpongeBob for that reason, and I think I'm gonna stick with it. This little seam here is kind of annoying, but you know what? You just have to deal with it. Okay, now let's start decorating a bit more. We've got the base down. We have a good foundation. Now we can mess around with this. Let's just see how it is, and I can always change it later. Can't forget our pirate ship wheel. I'm just sticking it in here because I have to. We have to have it. It's a must. That's a must. Look at it. Okay, great. I messed around with all of these corners and I think that I have them pretty well decorated. I shoved a couple of beams in over here this way. I like that the rafters kind of add some architectural interest. I know that the regular beams probably were more suitable, but I mean, come on, like that's the regular beams here. Let me show you. This is what I do. All right, so I go over here and then I look at this one. I think, ooh, I like that. I turn around and I look over here and I think to myself, ooh, I mean, I like that, but it needs something more. And then I decide, well, okay, I like maximalist design and this one is perfect, so I'm just gonna go with that one. And you can also go with this one. So just letting you guys know, you have those two separate options and I am opting with option left. All right, now all of the food is placed and we are going to drop in some lights. They look exactly like the lights from Spongebob. I know that one tucked into the corner might be pretty cute. I'll toss one over there. And then to balance it out, I want to toss one over here. Let's see, where do you fit? I have a feeling I might enjoy it the most here. Let's try. And then I'll put some on the tables. Okay, what do we think? Is that too bright? No, over there, that looks really cute. It kind of gives the area a bit of a glow up, literally. You don't even see it though. I might have to stick it. Okay, let me move it. I'm moving it. Okay, well now that I've dropped the light, I can see how bright it is. Yeah, I prefer that there, like this. But see, it might be too bright. It is too bright, but I don't want you to see the color of the tables as much as you do see them. I'm gonna toss it on. Let's just do like 2 tables. Can we get away with 2 tables only? Yeah, this might not look great. I'm just shoving one on and we're gonna pop out of furniture mode. It kind of blows out the color of the tables. You don't really see all the food on it, but you don't really see the fact that the tables aren't obviously what the tables are in SpongeBob, but I think that they go the best and they feel the most ship-like, kind of like this wall in the back here. This is how the space is finished up. This is the main dining space of the Krusty Krab. Over here on the left is the next space we're gonna pop into. We're gonna do Mr.Krabs' office. And then over here in the back, we're gonna do the kitchen. Over on the right-hand side, we are going to toss in the bathrooms. We have the main space done. Let me do a quick little spin around for everybody who's curious how the space looks. And then at the end, I'll do an aerial view of all the spaces. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm excited that I made the space larger. I am kind of disappointed that because of the doors having to be on individual walls, I couldn't just load them up on this one back wall and then have a bunch more windows in here. And I really wanted the decor in the corner in the back because it makes the space more visually interesting and it adds my theme in there. I can't put the items at the top like in SpongeBob, so I had to put them on the ground where everybody can see them. That being said, I couldn't put in this second window here because the door was in the way. It's fine. I really like the way that it turned out. I really like that these give some architectural appeal and some visual interest. Let's pop on over to Mr. Krabs' office. those are all of the finishing touches that I have for Mr. Krabs' office. I think that what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll mess with some of these and put in other eating scenes. I'm not gonna bother to do that yet. That's not the interesting part. The more interesting part are these Easter eggs. So I put cute little pearls down here on the ground because we thought, well, I say we, my husband was like, well, do you have pearls in the game? Those are SpongeBob related, because I was trying to come up with ideas of items that I could drop around. And I do really like to clutter up my spaces because it makes them a lot more interesting. So I tried to do that here, especially because this area is small and there aren't too many items that are very SpongeBob specific, right? So I had to work with Disney associated items. We put a little fish tank in here. I keep saying I put a little fish tank in here, and then I threw on some golden bars because, you know, Mr. Krabs loves gold and he loves money and he loves his golden bars. He's kind of like the Mr. Scrooge, I guess, for the Nickelodeon side of things. And then over in this area, I forgot I have these bubble lamps. So I'm definitely gonna go and add a bunch of these to the Krusty Krab because it's really interesting to be inside one of the spaces that are supposed to be in the water and then see the bubbles. It really adds to the atmosphere and the ambiance, so I really love that there. And then I also thought Mr. Krabs in his office would have these really nice fancy gold gilded frames because he'd want to look affluent to all of his friends, and I just thought that it was very Mr. Krabs. And then above the items there, oh no, I don't have the ore hanging up there, but I do have it on this side, don't I? Oh yeah, look. Okay, so I put the ore over on this side, but not both sides because I thought, maybe it would be a little bit too much. So there is the ore over on that side there, but there isn't one over on the other side. I don't know, maybe I should have put it in. I guess I always could, but on this side, I do have the artwork. I'm not gonna put the ore on that side because over on this side, there is no artwork. It feels a little bit different. And then in the images and reference photos, there is a porthole window over on this side of Mr. Krabs' office and desk. And then of course, in the reference photos, we have the single lantern hanging here on the rafter, it would be, but I don't have rafters and lanterns that hang from the rafters. Hopefully one day I will be getting the rafters. They would be in this if I had them yet. That is an item from the reference photo, different location, but same area, same aesthetic. That is how Mr. Krabs' office turned out. Next space we're gonna move into is the kitchen. And here we are in the kitchen. I'm gonna give you a quick little spin around so you can see what is on the walls. This is a small space. Remember, we made it nice and tight. The wall that the hamburgers are on is the serving wall with the little serving window that goes out to the other side where Squidward would stand at the bar. And then this is the door here that is the one and only entrance. There are two doors in Mr. Krabs' office and also in the kitchen. In the show reference photos, the actual spaces have changed over time. The show had a couple of different creators. I tried to use the reference photo for the main layout. You have the grill over here. I put this big black cabinet in which matches and is similar to the one in the reference photos over here on this wall. And then I shoved in on the wall these bowls and plates just to make it feel a little bit more busy. I clipped it in there. I put one of the lanterns up here because again, these are SpongeBob-esque items, as well as a cheese grater and then pots above it. And to make the space feel more lively and use the items that we do have at our disposal, I chose these items to put on the countertop for burger supplies. What I was attempting to do here is use this bowl as kind of like ground meat, as well as this meat being meat. And then I used the strawberries as tomatoes because the one single tomato was kind of weird. And then the lettuce head looked nice. On this wall, I needed to fill in the space, so I put in one of those big utility sinks. In a kitchen, you're typically gonna see a large utility sink. These storage cabinets over here, and above them, I put the shelves from the Eternity Isle crafting menu. And then on top of the shelves, I put items that are kitchen appropriate as well. And don't forget that bag, that burlap sack, I think is what it's called, is a very good SpongeBob item. And then barrels are very appropriate. I stuck in a broom over here. And then bubbles, because bubbles do make it feel like we are underwater. And then on this wall, the pickles from the pickle episode, another burger, and then along the wall to make it feel busy and interesting, we have all of these cups and plates and bowls and just kitchen appropriate items. That is from the Ratatouille collection, and a lot of the items in this space are from from the Ratatouille collection. Over on this wall, you can see it is similar to the reference photo. I think that this view is the most similar. I know I have an island in the middle of the kitchen because you would in a commercial kitchen have this, so I did try to make it feel more realistic and busy, because if I made the space as small and as simple as the real SpongeBob space, it probably wouldn't be so interesting. And then don't forget, along the ceiling up here as well, I have my lighting that matches, as well as a lot of stored pots and pans. I am really happy with the way that it turned out. It's nice, it's warm. I tried to stay in a similar color scheme because there are a couple of extra colors dabbled in there that are kind of intense, like the bright blue, the teal. The reds are a little bit exciting, but not too overpowering because you do see them on the bottom of the pans. But I do try to, if I have a color in one area, pull it into other areas. I mean, minus the lettuce just because it's an ingredient, but typically whenever I use items for decor, I do try to pull in other aspects of those items. And now here we have the last space, which is the bathroom. I know, it's a weird space. There is a really funny episode with Squidward and SpongeBob in the bathroom, and there's a really long line, and because of that, it made me want to do the bathroom instead of the CCTV room, as well as the fact that for as far as memories go, there aren't enough for the CCTV room. I combined that with Mr.Krabs' office, and now that gave me the opportunity to do my own separate bathroom. And I'm so excited to finally unveil to you how I use the Milan item. So as you can see here in the reference photo, we have this canvas stretched across these posts. I thought that is so perfect, and with the Milan collection, I have the most accurate item that I could find for something like that, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And then I decided to use the Monsters Inc. toilets just because they had a bit more of an interest to them vertically. I like that they are a bit more industrial and historic. I did add all kinds of extra items into the space that weren't in the original source material. I wanted it to feel interesting, and it felt very undecorated. There were only about like 6 items as cartoon rooms go in the space, so I had to put in items that I decided were appropriate. And then I decided to use these sinks again because they were in the kitchen. They kind of had a really nice complementary color scheme to these porthole windows. That's why I decided to go with these. Now we're gonna do our aerial view of the main space for the Krusty Krab. I'm going to do a little spin around, and hopefully it is just the right speed. I'm going to do it at a high up sharp angle to start, and then I think that just because the space had a couple of things added to it, surprise, surprise, since you last saw it, you can see down here below the tables, I did add those flagstone doorsteps, I think they're called, from the Storybook Fail collection, and I'm super excited because they actually make the tables look like those spools. This is how this space looks. It feels very SpongeBob-esque, and I'm happy with that. And Mr. Krabs' office. I have a lot of different elements in here. I wasn't too sure if it was going to come together. But honestly, whenever I added the CCTV bleh, wall, why is that so difficult to say? I was really excited with the way that it looked, and I figured, that's a good enough finishing touch. And then for the kitchen. I don't know if you guys noticed the spatula, but yes, there is the grill set on the flat top. It was my attempt at making a flat top, something that's the most flat top-esque look. And then the bathroom. The last and final space, probably the easiest, most simple, fastest to copy, build, and or be inspired by. And there you have it. Those are all of my spaces that I decided to decorate for the second rendition of my Krusty Krab. Definitely, I think that it would be really, really cute to have bubbles all over with maybe some fish in it and or anything that would be appropriate. Maybe just like floating burgers and bubbles around would be super cute. And I thought about that. You know what? Actually, hold on. Pause. Let's do it. And there we have it, everyone. Now we have a nice, beautiful space that's full to the brim. Literally, the ground, the walls, the sky, the ceiling. It's so full. I threw all these bubbles in because they felt very appropriate considering that we are supposed to be underwater. Just the idea and the theme and the concept, going for that aesthetic again. It definitely has a theme going on, and I tried again not to use too many colors and to keep everything in the same colorway whenever I did use some excess colors in here. I really hope that you guys like it. I really appreciate that you watched this video. Thanks so much. If you do like this video, thumbs up my videos so that I know that you guys like them, but I think you guys like them because I get at least one. And I mean, one is better than none, am I right? But thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.